So I hear sometimes people say that the swing blade isn't that efficient on small logs, whereas they're more suited for large logs. Absolutely say that this machine in particular, the 12-inch automated system, is very efficient for small logs and large logs. So it covers the full spectrum. So I'm going to show you some alternative methods where you don't have to get in there and tail every board. You can cut that whole log into pieces without having to leave your station. Also, a big part of handling small logs comes down to how you have things set up, right? So you want bunks at a good height, so you're not having to bend over. And you can create some bunks like this with notches. You really want to skim the face of the bunks so that it's all true. So if you do decide to roll the log, it's got a flat datum. You can use large logs, to bring things up. So you could have 3 large logs to put your small logs onto, and you could stage them all to the right there. What I normally do to cut the little squares out, so obviously what works best with the swing blade is like an 1 to 2 inch deep vertical cut, and then skimmed all the way across to leave a little square. And what actually happens is the 2 little edges, they cradle the log. So with small logs, you want that to be about 5 inches wide, 5 inches wide, and about 1 inch deep. So your log just kind of sits on those 2 edges. And what I do is I just skim the top of my bunk so it's all true, and then I drive forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back to leave yourself that little square. And that supports the logs really well. So we'll do 3 examples of sawing small logs. The first one, we have a round log like that. It's sitting within your little 5-inch cutouts there, and it's contacting on those 2 edges. All right, so there's your bunk. And how I would approach here is I would slice through first and take off that top face right there. And the reason we need to do that is so that we can utilize our full 12-inch depth. So at that point, I would have marked on my post where that datum point is, and I'd drop down whatever I need to do. So in this case, I might drop down 10 inches, right? So that will fall away right there, vertically. And you might drop down to about here, which means that piece is still intact. So then I can either drive forward, cutting the other way, or come back, cutting this way. So I'll just do a series of vertical cuts all the way across, like so. And that there will fall off as well. So then you're left with 90% of the log still intact, and you haven't had to deal with removing timber through that process. So at that point, I'd flip the blade into horizontal, I'd shoot it down the other end, and then I would enter the cut, and I would reverse. I could go forward and cut a few there in one go, and then come back that way, and then go forward. But really, this last bunch of boards here, you want to come in at the other end and then back cut towards you, so that all that weight doesn't want to turn the log as you're progressing. Because imagine, as you're cutting through, the weight is changing to this side. So instead of taking 1 board, 2 boards, and slowly this thing starts to move, you want to go in empty and then come back and then back towards you, back cutting. And that'll cut all those boards free. And you should be only left with a small slab, which you can resaw, or if you wanted to spend time, get 1 more board out of that. But because we're talking about efficiency and time, you're going to have to compromise, a board or 2 around the outside edge of the logs. Now, traditionally, bandsaws look so efficient because they chop off that top, the side bit, chop that bit, and they're left with a square. And they forget the board that's here, the board that's here, the board that's here, because that's all time, right? So we can cheat too. So a bandsaw would then take that square and say, hey, look, magically, look how efficient my saw is. I can go zip, 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 all the way down. But you know what? They're 12-inch boards or they're 10-inch boards, and it doesn't take into consideration edging, right? So if you truly want to get what you want at the end of the day, you've got to take all those boards, set them aside, and then re-edge them according to your cut list. So you might edge here, you might edge there. So that's all time. But what I'm trying to show you here is that 12-inch machine is just as efficient as a bandsaw if used in the correct manner and the correct process. So the next log, we will convert that round into a square. So you've got the bunk there again, and depending on the size of the log, if it's under 12 or a 13-inch, you might get away just going zip vertically, zip, and remember your blade goes down to about here, so you've got a reference point on your post. So if the log's small enough, you can do your vertical cut here like that, and then you can come over here and do your vertical cut like that, and basically you just rotate that log. So you've now on a flat like that, and you could actually align the center to your little notch there, so you know you're nice and true center at each end. And then again, you just come through vertical, move it across, come through vertical. So really, that eliminates the ups and downs and the lefts and rights and all that sort of movement to create a very two-step process, round to square. So basically, you're cutting your vertical here, flip it, align it, and you're just moving back and cutting your verticals. So a very easy way of converting a small log round into a square. So now I'll show you another scenario. So the third log we'll do a little bit different. So the third log, we can go, okay, I'm going to take that off at the top horizontally, and then I can go through horizontally that way, and then I drop down at the other end, and I come back, and I do a horizontal, and I do a horizontal, 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 horizontal. And so that whole log is just sitting there with all your horizontal cuts made. And when you get to your reference point here, again, come through vertical this way. You might want to do another vertical here to create a whole bunch of sticks or battens. And then you carry on over here, and you do the vertical cut there. You might do another vertical cut there first, and then cut them all free. But again, you're not having to handle all that timber as you do that process. You're left with all your timber nicely stacked in the middle, and a bunch of fillets on either side of the log. So that's the third process we'll trial. Now, we're not going to do this today, but another option is, okay, so you're dealing with small logs and you've got a lot of them. So basically, you cut your little notch here like this. That's 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 little notches for your logs. And you've got one here, and they're all roughly the same size, There's one log there, one log here. So you just roll them in, and they pop into the little gluts there. And again, you want to chop the top off each log, so you can maximize that full depth cut, 12-inch, which is pretty reasonable. So you've got the logs looking like that. And again, you just, in this case, you'll need to swing your horizontal guard up out of the way, or remove it. And you just do a series of vertical cuts. Boom, 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 all the way across like this. Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, all the way across. And repeat the exact same process. Drop it down 10 inches or 12 inches, whatever you need to do. Drive to the other end, come back horizontally, cut them all free. Send it down again, come back into it, cut them all free. Go down, cut them all free. Now, in this case, you will have to stack that log's worth of timber before you can free this one. So you're still having to handle a lot of timber at one time, which will increase efficiency if you have a forklift or something like that. but it just means that you're not in there back and forth, all that moving. You know, it's the saw's doing most of the work. So that's another option to get this thing efficient. So obviously that could have been a little bit more efficient, given you're doing this every day, but that was the first go at that process. So, you'll figure out little efficiencies here and there to save you even further time. But as you can see, if you had a forklift, you just pile them on your forklift. That's your slab. Got a little chunky slab there. Could have probably got a 1-inch board out of that if you're taking your time. So this border turn gets in the way of that full vertical edging process, so that guard can swing up and that border mover can be removed, so you can go right across doing vertical cuts. So now I'll lower it down to the surface here to find my datum. I'll mark on my post over there where that datum is, raise it back up, roll that log into the little square here, and we'll go about cutting that, converting that round into a square, and see how quick we can do that. Right, we'll just roll this little log in there, and these little logs are super easy to set up. They just fall in there, slide that out over there, so we're sitting at our mark right here. So I'll set this to 9 inches, which is right there, and we will go up 8 inch, 7 inch, 6 inch, 5 inch, 4 inch, 3 inch, 2 inch, 1 inch, and that's our reference point. So that's where we want to start taking the top of the log off. So again, I'm just taking the top of the log off here to allow us to utilize the full 12-inch depth of the cut. If that arc was still on it, I wouldn't get that full 12-inch depth of cut. It would be something like more like 8-inch or 10-inch. So it tops off, and I just want to make sure I've got an 8-inch width on that. I might need to go down a little bit more. So I've got 8-inch there. She's a little bit wane. I think that's it though. That's about right. So now I'll go down to my reference point. So we're just going to go down, all the way down, reference point, which is there. Swing that to vertical, vertical. And I'm going to go the other end, so it's going to work. Because I want a bit of line, probably about here. That's one side up, like so, and now we'll move it over another 8 inches, and we'll cut the other side. So we want to go inches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So there you go, and that's that. So both sides of the log are now edged. So here we just rotate that, and all we're doing is lining this up to the center here. So and there's your 8" by 8" block. So again, you can get pretty efficient with that too. My e-stop's a little bit tight here, so I'll just loosen this up a bit so it doesn't automatically switch off. Top of the log off, just so I can get that moved up. Alright, so now I can start dropping down horizontally. here, 2 inches again. Out of the cut. And bring that back. Now it's the one. So go down and find my reference right there. There it is. And it's the same. I'm going to get probably 10 inch, 100, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inch. That wasn't the best log to demonstrate. It was pretty gnarly, knots everywhere. But it's just another way of producing timber without having to walk back and forth for every board. So the more you do that, the more you get familiar with it, and the easier it gets. I had to chop a little bit of a nub off there with a chainsaw, but normally your logs are nice and smooth, so that process is a lot easier. But there you go, 3 examples of sawing small logs. And there's the stack of timber from those 3 little logs.